All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Sunday edition of Lambdas Who Roll Live, episode 25. I'm your host, Hernan, with my co-hosts, Diego, Fernando, and a special guest today, Jiu Jitsu, Ecuadorian Jiu Jitsu phenom, Francisco Sinistro Iturralde. Man, how are you, brother, today? How is everything?
Doing amazing. Thank you for having me.
Awesome,
Oh,
man.
we're so excited to have you, man. We really appreciate your time. Let's jump into it, man. I know you got to go and take care of some other responsibilities, so let's get this show started. Man, I'm happy to have you here, and we wanted to kind of get to know you a little bit better, find out, a little bit more about, yourself, your journey, your jujitsu, your mindset, and then what you're doing now. So let's get, I wanted to know personally. You started jujitsu at 13 or young, right? Around 13 years old or so.
Yeah, first contact with Jiu-Jitsu, I was 7 years old, but
Seven.
only when I was 13-ish, I started training every day. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice, man. What got you into training? You already knew about it as a young age, or your family introduced it?
So yeah, I have my two older brothers who are also black belts. They got their black belts
Nice.
way before me, and well, they were pretty much the ones who pushed me to training. Whenever I didn't want to train or I was thinking about quitting, they were the ones who were trying to drag me back into it. Also, a lot of support from my dad. My mom not so much. She was like a bit scared that I was fighting all the time. So, like in her eyes, I was doing like UFC stuff.
Mm.
So yeah, she was like pretty scared about it. But then later on, she understood that this was my path, and they were. But most of the time, people were very supportive with my decisions. So whenever I wanted to train jiu-jitsu a lot, they were allowing me, and then whenever I wanted to compete, they will help me to make it to my destination so I can compete. And then later on, when I decided to quit school and just do jiu-jitsu full time, it also,
Nice.
worked out for the best. I think that when something's meant to happen, there's a lot of acts of serendipity that open you the way, right? Like kind of like Moses opened
Mhm.
the waters, like so. Everything opens up for you to just go through, and you have no hassles, and you can make your stuff and
That's
whatever
cool.
you're destined to do. So I think jiu-jitsu was pretty much like that for me. I think I was destined to do jiu-jitsu, to use this talent, not fighting only, but for helping others with, distressing and, finding an outlet, getting healthier, and, so many beautiful things that jiu-jitsu has to offer. So yeah, I think that
Nice, man.
every opportunity open up in the right path for me for sure.
Excellent. So I know you said you had some. There were some challenges initially to kind of get into it, at least to the level that you are now. It's part of your life. It's part of your, not necessarily just for your health benefit, right? But this is your career, right? This is what you do now for a way of for
Hmm.
for a living. When you had those moments in your earlier days where you didn't want to get on the mat, you really weren't too sure about your level of passion to it. You said your brothers would help you out. What are some of the things, maybe some of the techniques or words that they shared with you to try to get you onto the mat and make you fall in love with jujitsu?
So well, as far as with my brothers, they were not that. I don't know how to explain it, but they were not that wise with the words. They were still very young. We were all very young. Like my
Yeah.
siblings were like in the early 20s, and they would just like be like, "Don't be lazy, come on, fuck on the mat." They would scream at me, and like it was a different jiu-jitsu back in the day. It was very cascagrosa, as some of you have heard that term before, like just
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll scream at me, and it made me train. And same thing with my dad. My dad will preach me before and after class, like, "Why didn't I try hard enough?" And that's why I wanted to quit so many times, but they were like, "No, no, stick with it, stick with it." And I was also enjoying the camaraderie at the academy. I think that if it wasn't because I saw all these people that I looked up to gathering and having fun and enjoying time together, I wanted to be part of that as well. So sometimes I didn't really want to train, but I knew that they're all gonna be playing jokes and like having fun. So for me, it was gonna be very entertaining to be there. So sometimes, in spite of being injured, I would still go and just sit on the side of the mat and watch and hang out and just help people with technique or ask questions because I mean I was enjoying the environment more than the sport, maybe even. And then at some point, then they told me that, oh, you can be good at this, and I started dedicating more of my time into it, and yeah, it was very profitable.
That's awesome, man.
So,
That's a dream, like a dream come true type of thing, man. Awesome.
so now
Yeah,
you
yeah, they
transition.
did. Sorry,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
brother. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead. No, no, go ahead.
No, I just say that jiu-jitsu wasn't never like a plan for me to start training and becoming a champion. That happened. Yeah, I just started training because it was fun, and then my siblings started competing, and then I was the little brother, so then I started competing too, and then I started doing better and better. So yeah, I think that sometimes you stress too much the result or the destination of a plan. So let's say I started training jiu-jitsu and I want to train hard because I want to be a champion. And maybe when you're a white belt, you don't even have to worry about that yet. Because
Mm, yeah,
and
it's true.
also when you start training jiu-jitsu, if you don't start training very, very early at a young age, I mean, I don't think you can be like a great champion or anything like that. You start training like you can those kids now that are fighting on the or is it the who's number one?
Who's not?
They're
Oh
like
yeah.
18. Yeah, come on,
Yeah.
they don't even have a beard yet. So the level's pretty high. So if you're a white belt, you want to start training, and you're like, oh, when we tournaments and stuff like that, do it because you enjoy it because it's fun, but don't put stress on you that you have to be a champion or you have to win
Yeah.
everything or anything like that. Because
Right.
if you to win everything like that, you better have started when you were like at least 10 years old.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
Yeah, definitely
That's
the
true.
level of competition is getting higher. I mean, you have kids like you said that are start training when they're 4 or 5 years old. By the time they're 16, they've trained 10, 12
Crazy.
years in their life. Very similar to like an adult jumping into it.
And it's not right now. It's just because now they're showcasting it. I mean,
Uh,
now they have tournaments that a 16-year-old can fight a seasoned black belt. Back
mm,
in my times, you will never get the chance to fight in a tournament with a black belt ever. If you were a blue belt, purple belt,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
even a brown belt. Just when Abu Dhabi tournaments started happening,
Yeah.
the World Pro, you started
Yeah.
happening. I remember it was brown and black belt
Combined. Yeah. Combined. Yeah.
combined. So just then you had the opportunity to fight a seasoned black belt. Nowadays, if you talk your way through it and you work hard, you're marketable, you're gonna get an opportunity to fight anyone you want to fight if you're young. So now they're just showing it. When I was a blue belt, I used to tap some black belts as well. I'm not saying I was tapping every black belt, but not at all. But like I remember for a tournament as a blue belt, juvenile, and then in Ecuador they had another like a parallel tournament. Let's say another division that was all the champions from all the divisions, from blue belt to black belt.
Mm,
And in the semifinal, I had to fight this brown belt who was really good. And then I ended up tapping him. So, and then my brother was in the final, so then he let me win because it was like it was like such an heroic thing for a lower belt to tap a higher belt back in
mm,
that day. So
yeah.
I just now they're showcasing it, so you can see
Yeah.
kids that are really good. They have been training since they're like 6. They're Rutolos. They've been training since. Have you seen those pictures? They're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
And pollitos. Yeah.
they still
The babies.
they still have their baby
Babies.
teeth.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true, man. That's true. Man,
But
they are definitely talented. Absolutely, man. But
but connecting, but now you have your academy. One, congratulations for that, and God bless you with everything that you're doing there, man. And I hope it grows into something amazing. And I can't wait to visit. So you transition that into that. Are you still competing? Are you now balancing it a different way? So because now it is a different, you know, avenue, right? Competition style, competition life. As an owner and instructor like that is a little different. How do you? What's that like?
So well, I've been a competitor for more than 10 years, and I mean it's good to take a break sometimes and shift your focus a bit to do some other stuff. And to be honest, I don't think like my competition life is over. It just right now it's on hold. I have a lot of things that I'm taking care of. I went
Are
back
you
to
still
school.
able to train? Are you still able to train as much or as you?
look, I train every class with my students,
Gotcha.
but one thing is to train with your students. Another thing is to train with people who you wanna train hard with.
Right.
So I have a crew, the crew from Clark's. We all gather and train together. Clark's team. Sometimes they come to my gym as well, and we go to Brandon's gym up in San Marcos, which is like 20 minutes from my gym, my academy. Excuse me. And I think that, man, I get 2, 3 times a week hard training, and then the other days, the other sessions, is training with my students. So when you're a professor and you're in charge of the class, and you're not only in charge of the class, but you own the place, and every student is a profit for you, it's a bit different than when you're a competitor and you want to compete and do the best that you can in competitions and at training. So let's put it this way: if you're a professor slash owner, you want everybody else in that room to be better than you.
Hmm. Yeah.
If you are a competitor, you want to be better than everyone else in that room. So it's a bit different. If you're a competitor, you should be thinking that you have to be the best in every single practice, in every single weight session, in every single round, in every single thing that you do to better your training for competition. But when
That's a
you're a
great way to
business
put it,
owner,
man.
yeah, but when you're a business owner, you need to make sure that people are safe, they're not getting scared. Because if I go 100% with my students, they don't want to come back
You wouldn't
tomorrow.
have any students.
Yeah. So I gotta let them play, let them get me in sweeps, let them get me submissions, start defending with them, let them take the lead. Because if I go
It's what you would do.
100%
What
with
you were
my
doing with
students, it's
us when you came
possible.
to train with us.
Exactly, man.
You're
Yeah.
just
So
toying with
Anything
us.
like that.
and also I cannot roll 100% every single training session.
Yeah.
If I roll
Yeah, that's true.
100% every single time that I roll, man, your body's all messed up. And I've
Yeah,
been
that's
there.
true.
So right now is not time for that. I'm also, God willing, well, not God willing, thanks God, making the transition in my life to become a parent. We're
Mm.
9 months pregnant right now. My wife can
Mm,
give birth at any moment. So we're trying to do the best for the family as well and the business. So right now, competing and risking an injury or
yeah,
focusing too much time on that, it's not the most profitable.
Makes
So
sense.
that's
we're
true.
trying to enjoy this
Awesome.
ride that we have right now, and at some point, then when the kid's big enough, gonna be able to see daddy competing at a tournament.
That's awesome.
Awesome,
Yeah.
man. Congratulations.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations for
And I'm
sure.
so I'm also almost a master. So next year I'm gonna be competing at master division.
Oh man.
It's a lot better. It's a lot better to compete 6 minutes than 10 minutes.
But it's getting very competitive. The master divisions are extremely competitive. But now I've got my black belt, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll be in the masters 2 or 3 division. But that's like people
Yeah.
who've been training for 20 plus years, so it's gonna be tough, right? It's like it's not a joke anymore. I know
Yeah, of
before people would
course.
make fun of it.
A lot of the guys that I used to compete with when I was competing in like my 22s, 23s,
Yeah,
they're in master division now and they're like winning the master division. So I
yeah.
mean, the level side, the guys
Oh
Yeah.
who
yeah,
compete at that division is people who I fought my whole life.
right,
So yeah, it's
right.
That's
it's
true.
not the
Yeah.
same as the gold division. That in the gold division, every 2, 3 years, you have a lot of new people coming through the
Right.
division and fighting different people. When you fight Masters 2, Masters 3, man, there's fights that I watch at the Masters Worlds that it's possibly like the 20th time those guys have fought, and they're like Masters 4, and they used to compete in like Rio in the finals of the Worlds in like the 90s,
Wow.
And they're still
Yeah.
fighting with each other because, that's the same division that keeps going up. So it doesn't get any easier. Just same people that you'll be fighting your whole life, kind of like get wiser. In the case of a long time black belt, as you say, someone who's been a black belt for like 10, 20 years, someone who's new black belt, you go in as the new guy in the division, and yeah, it's a bit more challenging. But
Yeah,
hey, you can
absolutely.
make it happen, man. Raul Jimenez, my friend Gacho, dude, he went in the Masters division. He got the black belt already when he was like 40 something. So he
Mm.
fought. he has fought many world champions like Babalu. He has fought Comprido. He has fought Pedepano. He's beat them all. I mean, people who
Wow.
are like who were the best in the world like 20 years ago. He just got his black belt and he beats them up. Like really, really, really good technique that he has, and also like the hunger he has. I mean, you can make it happen even though you're a new
Yeah.
black belt. I mean, it's funny to see because you see Gacho with like one stripe in his black belt or like no stripes back in the day, and he was beating guys who had like 6, 7 stripes on their black belt. So I mean, it doesn't mean anything. If you get ready, if you're focused, who knows?
Yeah,
Nothing can stop you.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Now,
That's
so
true.
it kind of segueing into one of the questions that I had was, you yourself have fought some of the biggest names, in jiu-jitsu. I mean, you got wins over guys like Kenny Florian, Octavio Souza. You have Lachlan Giles, Wagner Hocha. These are guys you've competed at. These are the people that you've that you've had a chance to compete against. So what's your mental preparation and physical preparation like before you actually compete? Like, what's some of that look like?
So listen, I never thought that I was someone who was skillful. I only worked very hard and I was very focused. More than anything, a, a lot of mental preparation. Like I believed a lot that I could win, even though the odds were not in my side. So I think that sometimes has a lot more to do, or at the time of the fight when you're both already at a very high level. So let's say if I don't train very much and I haven't been training for that long, and I show up to the tournament barely getting ready, just thinking that I can win, maybe it's not gonna help. But if you get ready the best that you can, if you have decent technique to make a game plan to try to beat them, and you're very resilient with your mindset, I'm pretty sure you can beat a lot of people. Now at a tournament, sometimes it's a bit tougher because you're not fighting only one person. I was in a super fight. You're fighting possibly like 5, 6 different guys and people who has all the potential of becoming a world champion or being a world champion. So it's a lot tougher to go through many of those. If, especially when you're an underdog, but then every match you fight is like since the beginning, since the first match is someone who's like a seasoned black belt who's who's being a world champion maybe. So when you're already has a lot have a lot of titles in your resume, they put you on a better side of the bracket to fight some people like you. So it makes it very tough to win a tournament. Beating
Mm.
guys like Octavio Wagner, and other guys, very good accomplishment. But those times I haven't won the whole tournament. I just possibly like got second at the best because it's hard to keep that winning strike to make
Mm.
to win a tournament, especially when you have a wild card style like me. Like
Yeah.
I'm not very conservative in the game. I start fighting at the second one as hard as I can fight on this last 10 seconds of the fight. So I'm very dynamic, I guess, with my style. So sometimes works out very well, and then sometimes you're someone who's very, very, very conservative, and then it's hard to beat them. So
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
that yeah, nowadays also the athletes are not only uh, judged or valued by the tournaments they won, but who they beat in those tournaments. So sometimes you enter a bracket that is a bit I don't want to say easier, but it's not as challenging as some other brackets
Yeah.
that are really, really spooky. So
Are you
yeah, I think that
competing?
nowadays at least they're checking that for competitors.
Are you competing now, or like have you? I know that things have. I know over there. I don't know if it's a little easier than over here in the East Coast. But are you competing now, or have
So
been?
they do have tournaments here, but I haven't been competing at all. I haven't competed since before COVID. I think
Okay.
the last World Championship I think was 2019.
19. Yeah.
I suffered an injury on my shoulder fighting at the absolute.
Mm.
And first fight of the absolute, I was winning on points. Then had to take these super heavyweights back. he rolled out of bounds and landed on my neck. So I had
Ooh.
a branchial plexus injury, which is when your nerve disconnects from the limb. Doesn't really disconnect, but the nerve kind of gets stretched. And when it
Mhm.
goes back to its normal size, then you start having the connection back. So I couldn't move my arm for 2 months. Like my arm was dead.
Wow.
But the most that I could move it was like this much.
Mhm.
So yeah, I had to recover from that. And as soon as I got fully healed from that, then COVID happened. So and then we started opening the gyms. A lot of things have keeping me away from competing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't miss it. I'm really happy that the jiu-jitsu is taking another step right now and
That's
professionalizing the
good.
athletes and showing really cool streamings where the athletes display their technique. And to be honest, I don't even watch much. So every now and then, if there's
Are
Mr.
you
Johnny
try?
Tama
Are you,
fighting or Roberto, then I'll watch him. But yeah, at the moment, I'm not really that much into that scene.
are you traveling?
No, 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 I'm not
No.
traveling either.
No.
No, right before we opened the gym, we did a couple of trips, like as soon as the borders
Yeah.
open. But then as soon as we opened the gym, we stopped traveling. First, to take care of the business on the early stage, and second, most of our students do not travel; they stay local. So
Yeah.
we wanna somehow make sure that we protect our students by not
Yeah.
getting exposed too much. Uh, some places that we don't really have much control over.
Right.
At least in our little community, we trust each other, and
Yeah.
we know that we're all taking precautions to keep training safe.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So,
So,
Sinistro, so this month, is Hispanic Heritage Month. And
Hmm.
in schools and in the media, they advertise the whole importance of recognizing the contributions that Hispanos have done in the United States. Coming from Ecuador, experiencing the jiu-jitsu, I guess the early stages of jiu-jitsu in Ecuador, and then coming here to the United States, and basically having that experience primarily from Latin America, the jiu-jitsu in Latin America. What do you feel, in your opinion, is or how do you feel about the Latino representation in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, both in Latin America and in the States? Do you think it's getting the recognition it deserves? What do you see?
So, especially here in California, which is a state that is very, very Hispanic, uh, I think that a lot of business owners, jiu-jitsu business owners, a lot of athletes are Spanish speaking nowadays. Not like back in the day, it was mainly some Americans and mostly Brazilians. Nowadays, you can tell that a bunch of kids from many different places, from Mexico to Argentina, are living the jiu-jitsu dream. So it's really, really cool to see kids that I remember at the time that I was a purple belt, blue belt. Me and maybe there was another Mexican kid I used to see always at tournaments, but that was it. Like everything else was done in English or Portuguese. Nowadays, in a pretty big Hispanic community, mainly because we have shared the ground here in the U.S. Not well, some of the athletes come from Colombia or come from Mexico or some other places where they train and then they come to compete. But the biggest part of the Hispanic community in Jiu-Jitsu is people who already live here in the United States. So that's something really cool to see that here in the U.S. we have found a middle ground for people from all communities, from all backgrounds to share the mats and to train together. So even more diverse than when it is back home. It's back home in Ecuador, then there's one American kid and there's one Asian kid. Out here, we're a lot more mix, and I think that's the beauty of our sport. Seeing the more of a melting pot like that will help us all not only to become better athletes, but also to be more tolerant and to love more people around us, and not only see you know, races or religions, but to get to know people and to get to enjoy people that otherwise you will have never be able to have the opportunity. So jiu-jitsu
yeah.
brings us that. Hmm.
Nice, man. I remember in I think it was like in 2010, we were at the New York Open, IBJJF New York Open, and I was competing, and I ran into you there, and I was so happy to see you. And I went up to you. You didn't even know who I was. I was like, I went up to you and I told you that I'm from Ecuador. You probably don't even remember this. But I was so happy to see you and meet you, because I've been following you for a while, since I guess when I started Jiu Jitsu in 2009. You used to like hold up the Ecuadorian flag and stuff on the podium whenever you
Of
made
course,
it.
I remember
Um,
you sent me a
man,
T-shirt
bro.
back then as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right. And man, I was like so happy, because in you always want to have that level of connection, and you have that to an extent, but like you said, it's a lot of Brazilians, a lot of Americans. And when I met you, I was like, man, we have an Ecuadorian that's representing at the highest level and winning, and showcasing that pride, bro. I was like, that's it, man. And it made me motivated more so to continue jujitsu and even compete more and stuff like that. So it's crazy how just in that interaction, that probably like 30 seconds of like, hey, my name is Hernan, I'm from Ecuador, and you give me that smile and kind of pat on the back. I didn't even know how big you were. You were pretty big compared to me. That motivated me to continue. So that's something like for me, when I remember about like a memorable moment between me and you, that was it, right? You helped me kind of keep that spark alive. So I think it was super important to have that level of representation for people, even myself. I'm much older than you, but just to kind of give me that energy to keep moving forward. So I appreciate that, man. That was good.
No, my pleasure, man. It's always incredible to see other fellow people from your who are from your same country or from your same background who you know how it is sometimes to struggle, or maybe for your parents how the struggle was to survive out there, and
Oh yeah.
then finding a way to better your lives, or not saying better your lives, but to just change the habits that you have back in your country, change the lifestyle, change totally set of opportunities. So it's amazing to see some fellow people from my country trying jiu-jitsu and staying motivated with jiu-jitsu from a place that is very remote, or a place that I never heard of before. So
Yeah.
when I was around that time, maybe a little before than that, like 2009-ish, I would say, around that time of the New York Open, I stayed with my friend Luis Martinez, who has a gym in Brooklyn, New York. And Luis at the time was a purple belt as well. This is me. And I went to his gym where he was training and teaching, and we had a really, really good connection from that trip that I made him at the New York Open. He gave me his phone number. He was like, "Hey, if you want to get some encebollado, let me know, and I'll take you out." Because I was staying in New York for like 2 months, from
Yeah.
the New York Open to the World, to the World. So we made it such a great connection because we both share, somehow same culture. Even though he was very young when he moved out here, but yeah, he took me to the Ecuadorian restaurant to Barzola, and then we enjoy a meal. Then he took me out to do some conditioning training because he's a personal trainer as well, or he was back in the day. And then started training with him every now and then when it was my day off. I'm training at Fabio's in Marcelo's. And nowadays he's a black belt gym, very beautiful in Brooklyn. And every time I go around, I teach a seminar at his place, just as I do with you guys. So it's really cool to see people who, through the years, you've seen battling this lifestyle of
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu. Because it's very challenging, there's a lot of up and downs in the jiu-jitsu journey. So if you can make it through that and becoming a black belt and then living your lifestyle to the fullest, it's amazing to see, and it's amazing to be part of that journey as well.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that, and we definitely appreciate you. Um, I know you have to run. I know we're at the 30 minute mark right now. I know you got to get going, but I want to just say personally, thank you so much for your time. I wish we had a little bit more time, but hopefully we can have you back on another show, and talk a little bit more about you and your journey, and kind of get a sense of just kind of catch up with you at that moment and see what you're doing. We hope that you we wish you much success on your gym. We wish you endless success, and we hope to see you soon. I'm hoping we
Yeah,
open up
man, for
something in
sure.
Maryland. We're hoping to open up something in Maryland, and we want to have you come down here too, and give a little seminar for us as well.
My pleasure.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you
Thank you
for
Mhm.
so
having
much.
me.
Yeah, man, it was nice talking to you, man. It was nice seeing you too. Hopefully, we can get to see you personally after everything gets a little bit more back to normal. Again, congratulations on your family, and
Yeah.
God bless you. And yeah, man, hope to see you soon, man.
All right, brother. Thank you, Sinistro,
Uh,
man. If anything,
thank
man, we'll
you.
keep in touch, man, for sure.
Right on. Have a good one, you
Awesome,
guys.
brother.
Take
All
care.
right, take care,
Bye bye.
brother. Peace
Thank you,
out,
brother.
brother. Take care. All right, man. That was
We were about
Sinistro.
to give him a para siempre there.
Yeah, for real. I was like, oh, no, man. So that was Sinistro,
Yo,
everyone,
I
man.
thought I thought Fernando was dead for a second, man.
That's
You all right,
stop.
brother? You fell asleep?
That cold got him pretty hard, man.
Sorry,
No, no, it
man.
was no, I just wanted to like just understand, know his mindset,
Yeah,
as the three of us are, well, I'm half Ecuadorian, you guys are full, just to see,
Mhm.
that see somebody that we share similar background, and kind of like I guess a similar story, from coming from Ecuador and stuff like that. So that was really good to see, and I just wanted to just sit back and just take as much in as possible, from him, from his
absolutely.
story, and
Yeah, man.
things
I
like
mean,
that.
honestly, man, when he came down, I don't think I knew much about him, but when he came down, man, he was amazing, bro. The way and things that he's young, man. So he's not like this older guy. So he came in very respectful. Saying awesome dude, and then so we started off teaching with the kids, and that was just like mind blowing because when I see certain things that I can pick up, even the coach and myself, we were like, oh man, that's awesome. So we pick up techniques, right? So it benefits us, and he's benefiting the kids. And then we trained, with the adults right after, and he whooped us up, man. So
Ooh, oh my
at the end of
goodness.
the day, man, and he has great jujitsu, and he was just a great person overall, man. So and right now we're going into being Latino, and that is a plus, and all these things start kind of connecting, and the camaraderie and all that, and connecting with a high level professor like that is just a nice feeling.
You know
Yeah,
what else
man.
too? Like I noticed too, like with that kind of like that Ecuadorian mindset, because like listening to him, like it was kind of like similar to like Chito Vera, the way that their mindset is. Like they always say, I'm not the most skilled or whatever. I just work hard. And I feel like
Mm.
that's the mentality that
That's
we
cool. Yeah,
as
man.
Ecuador. Well, even like my dad. My dad's Ecuador from Cuenca. It's the same mindset. Always works hard. Like Sunday through Sunday most of the time, but like I just see that mindset, and it's good to see it in our athletes and things like that. So it was very proud, very happy to hear that and to see that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's a unique distinction, a unique characteristic that all
man.
Latinos have, right? That we work hard. We many of us, Latin American countries, they're not the most established, right? They don't have like the highest form of power or anything like that. You always constantly have some type of turmoil, whether it's political or economic and stuff like that. So you have a lot of these lower class families that come to the States and they bust their butt to work here, just like our parents did, right? Came here to put their kids in college so that their kids can make it, and they have that mindset and they pass that on to their children, to work hard, whatever it may be. And in this case with Sinistro is like, you put your mind to jujitsu, you work hard, you're gonna make something of yourself, and it just proves to that hard work beats talent, right? That's what they say. And
Yeah.
it's nice to see that. And man, and honestly, man, when I met him for the first time, I was super proud to the fact that he was from Ecuador, and then kind of seeing his growth over the years, finally becoming a black belt, competing at that level and doing well. Like he said, he's not, the highest level black belt or whatever, but he does well. I mean, and he represents really hard. And having him, and I was not intimidated, but like, it's kind of like, oh, we're gonna ask, a high level black belt to come through, and
I
what is he
was
gonna ask
intimidated.
for? Yeah, what's he gonna ask for? Is he gonna come in and be like, oh, well, I want, for 2 hours, I want $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever it is, and kind of come in with that clout type of around, But man, he wasn't like that at all. When we approached him, he was super, super nice. He did it for the love of jujitsu, and I get that most people do it for, for income as well, and I support that as well, obviously. But there was like that approachability, like you were capable of talking to him because of that. In addition to the fact that we made that connection, we built a rapport because the fact that we were all Ecuadorian and stuff. So it was really nice to have him and kind of at Roll Star a while back and kind of pick his brain too. I think the best part of that whole session was when we sat after the class for like 20-30 minutes and you were just talking like in a circle and people were asking questions
man,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, he always gives some good gems, man.
Oh yeah,
you know.
sure.
Was this during the week or something? Why I missed this?
This was a long time ago.
I think it was on a Friday, right?
No, but this was a while ago, man. This was like
this
years
is
ago.
before I started doing jiu-jitsu.
This is
no. You were doing jiu-jitsu already.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you were already doing jiu-jitsu. Yeah, man, this was.
It's already almost like 3 years.
Yeah, you've been doing jiu-jitsu for like 5.
Yeah.
Bro, my bad, bro.
Yeah, you just didn't come up, man. You just didn't come up that weekend. You know. But,
I'm sure we invited you a year before the event.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, me being lazy.
And I remember it being on the first one was on a Friday, and I think that was the challenge for. And I remember because it was at nighttime when we left and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. It was really good. I think we had him there twice.
We had him there 2 times.
Yeah. I think I went for both times, and it was good.
Like,
Yeah. Don't worry.
Nah, man, we'll bring him up. No, yeah, for sure, man. But we'll bring him up again, and
Absolutely.
maybe have him go to hopefully both.
But
But yeah, man, that's cool, man. Like it's always nice to see, that it always adds again to the journey, man. Plus.
For sure.
Yeah,
So what's good, man? What else?
The gems that I got too is that it's not about the journey, but I mean it's about the journey, not the destination. Because a lot of people get caught up in that, like oh, I want to do this because I want to get my black belt, and then when they realize it's not as easy as that idea is, a lot of them quit. So I mean that's good. For those that are new that would like to or just starting their journey, just to realize that like there shouldn't be an end game. There shouldn't be an end goal. There's so much different techniques. You're not going to master everything. So like if you go with that white belt mindset, or even like being that forever student mindset, then I think that's something that will lead to some success.
Absolutely. And you could have that same level of success at every single belt level. I mean, and you just kind of keep on building upon that, the journey with jiu-jitsu, it's very progressive, but it's a slow progress there. But you still have your interim milestones that you'll hit, and you'll feel that sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. But yeah, it is a long journey. Sometimes it is a bit discouraging. But I think the more you focus on the journey, the quicker you'll see your belt change, rather than kind of focusing on what do I need to do for the next level. You just focus on, hey, let me just accept everything that comes, develop a game, and enjoy the process. And you'll see that it becomes easier. The belt changing becomes easier. So for sure.
Yeah, man. I know we said this before, man, but like, if I think if you were to ask, a majority of black belts, if they could do it again, not obviously not to remove their techniques or what they learned, but I'm sure we would all want to do it earlier, do it sooner, do it again, because and now it's like, instead of wanting the belt, like, as you get, towards, I wish I was sometimes still brown so that I can continue working on the things that I need to, before that last step or whatever, right? So, or before the next belt, right? At purple, you don't want brown, and at brown, you don't want black, because there's a lot to learn, man. Yeah. So now it becomes the opposite. The mentality changes, right? Because now, instead of wanting the belt, you really want to iron out, the techniques. You really want to be responsible for the belt, right? You're giving me a responsibility, so then it's a lot. So
I'm glad you said that, because I remember the other night we were talking about how I miss being under a lower belt. I miss it. I feel like at that there was no expectations at that during that time. Everybody wasn't looking at you and be like, "Oh, you're a black belt, so you got to be at this level," because obviously everybody sees who the black belts are, and they're like, "Well, if you're not there, then I'm not going to benefit from you." So there's like a lot of expectations, it's a huge responsibility to live up to. And then at the same time, even though you are a student for life and you're constantly, in that mindset of having to learn, you're always going to be progressing, even as a black belt, it becomes a little harder because if especially like if you start focusing, like even for example, what Sinistro was saying was he's not an active competitor anymore. Why? Because now he's focusing on the development of his students. So is he really learning? Maybe he's learning from his students and kind of tweaking his game, but is he receiving
No,
instruction
man,
like
he's
the
not.
way he was? It's not,
It's
right? It
not,
doesn't
man.
happen.
It doesn't happen.
And
So
so
He's
it's the
gonna
same
iron
thing
out,
for us.
but all that is gonna iron out everything that he has learned.
Oh yeah,
So
for
it's
sure.
gonna be even more lethal.
It does,
so
but I guess what the goal. I'm sorry to cut you off, Fernando. But
no, you good.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you're a lower belt, white all the way to brown, enjoy it, because that's really when you don't feel that pressure and you're just kind of the floodgates are open and you just let that information in and you start and you don't.
For real,
There's
man.
not that sense of expectation. But once you get to black, there's like I feel like there's like an expectation, and now you're like, well, man, if I make a mistake, are you they people will question it. So enjoy it. I guarantee it. You're
Really
going to
enjoy
say the
it.
same
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, for sure.
for sure,
Yeah, so I
man.
had a question for you two as gym owners. Do you feel like owning a gym and kind of like I wouldn't say putting your jiu-jitsu to the side, but like like more being more student focused instead of like more like self focused? Like how did you think like do you think that it like hinders it like your jiu-jitsu your rolling aspect, or like do you think it like enhances it? Like I because it's like hard because like when I heard him talk like like shifting his focus from like being that competitive side to like more on his student, like and I thought of I actually thought of you guys, like how has it like impacted your games? Like
So I know that for him, he had older brothers, so he saw a lot of the teaching, or all that, where so that was, um, I feel like that benefited him. So he became like he's a great instructor, man. Like I said, man, when he came in, like he was amazing with everyone, right? Again, young, and was just able to just to able to share this information very effectively. I think you need both, man. I think like there shouldn't be giving up. You need to have that student mindset always. That's regardless, right? But even more so, and then you have to be able to balance out whatever it is that you're doing from the instructor owner side or whatever. But like for myself, like my student side kind of went down, right? But if I wasn't teaching, I mean, the teaching helped me out so much, man, because I had to kind of keep the information, and I had to share it as I had to share it in a way that the person understands, which made me understand. So that's the thing that helped me out the most. But I see, the flip side is that I wasn't getting instruction from someone. So me asking questions wasn't there, right? So there's a lot of things that we're missing that obviously I can't take back, but there has to be a balance. So people have to strike that, find that way to be able to do both, right? Because both are super important, man. You can't stop being a student ever. Instructioners, we talked about this before. Instructionals, they help, but you need to be able to have communication. Ask questions, talk, spar, train live. But if it wasn't for the teaching, I feel like a lot of information wouldn't have been clear to me.
Yeah.
And more so teaching kids, man. Not even adults, man. Teaching kids, man, because they say like what is it like if you can explain it to if you can make a 5-year-old or 7 whatever understand. You ever heard that?
Yeah.
If you
yeah.
can make them understand, then you understand yourself, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's like that helped me out so much, man. But you shouldn't stop. You have to be on the opposite side, man.
Yeah.
Even for your own self, man. For you to kind of like balance out the information that you're getting on your own. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, sorry, man, long-winded.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's in running the program here and not having higher belts, mostly white belts, maybe some blues. It does become challenging for my own personal growth. I mean, I'm not rolling against higher belts that push me much harder, right? Now my students are kind of developing, but it's gonna take maybe 2-3 years before it really gets to a point where like, okay, we're playing chess, right?
Yeah.
I still I still lack that experience because of my decision to pursue the opportunity to teach, right? But it's a lot of self autonomy in that sense where I have to I'm not receiving instruction. I have to go look for it, whether it's like we talked about before through instructionals or maybe like some private lessons and stuff like that with somebody that's, obviously much better, that has something to offer. That's part of it, right? But one thing that in running a school has taught me or has helped me is, and like Diego said, reinforcing my game, reinforcing the techniques that I know, that I enjoy, because I always teach, and I only teach things that I actually do. I don't I don't look at YouTube and be like, oh, that's cool, let me go inverted, upside down, triangle to whatever, this and that. And that's not what I do, just because I want them to be interested in the latest and greatest. I remember talking to a friend of mine, Cesar Cabrera, who's a Renzo Gracie black belt way back in the day. And, I was attending his class. He was teaching at Capital. And he would say, like, I only teach what I do. So anything you're learning is basically what I do in a competition, in a role, in class or whatever. And I valued that, because I don't want to give or provide my students anything that doesn't have substance, that doesn't have proof, that I won't do myself. Even when we roll, I will do the technique and say, hey, see, it worked. So for me, it does reinforce my basics or my understanding of my jiu-jitsu. Now, as far as my development, now, do I want to learn worm guard, or do I want to learn something that's trendy now? Absolutely, I do. But unfortunately, those opportunities may not exist completely. I have to go find it, whether it's to me to teach myself, watch the videos and stuff like that, or go get and go to private. The only problem too with learning yourself is you need a drilling partner. And sometimes, if you tell your wife, well, hey, can you stay 5 minutes? Let me do it on you. They don't respond well, and that's why I value, like, when Diego comes down and we roll, and it's a harder roll. Even the students, when they watch it, they're like, whoa, what just happened? Or the same thing when I go up to New Jersey and you roll with Lewis or Omar stuff. It's much different. Or even some of the guys who are a little bit more advanced, more competitive. The same thing will go into like GFT or something like that. I welcome that, because that's when I test myself or try to do things that that may not necessarily be the same as you would do a student. I take more risks with them because now I want to challenge myself to see if it works. When you do it with a white belt that doesn't have any experience, they just don't know how to react. You're like going to get it no matter what. So you question yourself, did I get it because he doesn't know what he's doing, or did I get it because the technique actually works? So it has its pros and cons, man,
and this should, I guess, this should show how jujitsu is so it's effective, right? Because if you think about it, everyone is the end goal or the end result may be different, right? Someone who's competing 100 times a year is going to be different than someone who is just training 3 times a week at a gym and just doing their thing. It's different, but the efficiency may still be there, right? So you're still learning something very I'm sure, like, if a black belt who is very consistent in their training and a black belt who's a competitor, maybe the competitor will they'll outlast them, and they'll be, but I'm sure they can probably keep up, right? So the beauty of the fact that what I'm saying is, like, that, we learn jiu-jitsu in different ways, but we can still benefit from it, right? We still, we still end up being as efficient, or just as efficient, in this art. If you look at other arts, I don't think you can do that unless you're going into that specific place or that specific style of kung fu or style of, other art that you're training,
Yeah.
Man.
For me, I want to compete. I want to continue to compete. I want to test myself, especially at black. And I'm giving myself a game plan to get there. We talked about that a couple of days ago, the idea for next year, and to compete at Pans. That's my goal. I mean, I'd love to do it. Just
you made that happen. You made that happen, Fernando. You were like,
yeah, I'm gonna do it. I've already told my wife. I'm like, okay, September, we're either driving down there or whatever, but I'm gonna go get there. And obviously, before that, we have to compete a little bit more. At least once a month or at least once every 2 months, because you can't just show up and be like, all right, this is my first competition in 5 years or 4 years, and then expect to do well. I want to try to get a little bit ready, but in the same, so I'm gonna have to look for opportunities to train a little bit more intensely, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm just gonna continue teaching, because in my mind is like, even though I want to still compete for my own personal growth, my mindset is I want to be the best instructor I possibly can, because that's where I want to make the difference. So I might not be a world champion practitioner, right? I'm a world champion competitor, but I definitely want to be a world champion style instructor, and that's my decision, right?
Yeah.
And I remember one time, so with Jeremy, for example, Jeremy Lafreniere, who's the black belt at Capital, the owner. He's not a high level competitor, right? And he never was, and he doesn't want to be, but he is a great teacher. And just kind of like Diego was saying, like with Sinistro, he has great instruction to basically touch upon details that the person will comprehend and take and make their own. I want that status, right, where you're a world-class instructor. And for me, so that's my goal, right? And there's different ways to get there. So that's what I've decided to become, and that's what my dream is, hopefully with Roll Star as we move forward.
Yeah, man. So, Fernando, man, you got him to compete, so you gotta jump on it, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it sucks because like as we started that, then I got sick, so I had to miss a week of training this week. As you can see, I've been muting my mic too, just so that you guys don't hear me coughing and stuff like that. So, but hopefully, like I definitely want to compete. I put myself in a real low weight class, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to make that weight.
Motivation, man.
Yeah, I know, but it's like in a couple of weeks, so it's kind of tough.
That's the Fuji. That's the Fuji one.
Yeah. I'm still trying to, I want to do. I just want to break that, like I've never competed, so like I just want to like just experience it, like. I would say something else, but it's a family show, so I'm gonna stick to.
Do it, but like as far as the whole weight class, I would that may be the challenging part, man. So I would say like maybe stay at the weight class that you are, and train in that, because cutting weight alone, it's its own science, and like it's not easy, man. So if you ask other people, they say like just right now for the next one, then you change that. You have some time. Right now, you're coming off of something that you're not feeling well, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, because keep that in mind. At the weight I'm at right now, so I'm like 190. Like I feel like I'm really small.
And that's okay. But you exactly. you are, but you're gonna feel better in that moment.
Oh yeah,
like
sure.
I mean, I'm only saying in that you're gonna feel like crap probably no matter what. But like in that moment, compared to if you were to drop weight and not feel better and not feel good in that weight, because now you're going from a short period of time. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
But you're still gonna.
But yeah, man, do it, bro, man, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be the experience, and you're gonna be able to see, like,
Yeah.
So do it no matter what.
So you're gonna do it?
Yeah, he has to. He has to now, man.
Yeah, I guess, right? Yeah, might as well. Yeah.
I thought you said you were gonna defer it, and
I could. I mean, I haven't yet, but I just want.
Man, don't do it right now. We're recording, man. We're live, man. Wait until I have to say.
If you do it, I'll go and coach. You know what I mean? I'll be there. Go.
Yeah, like I said, like I saw some of my teammates yesterday at the Capital in-house tournament.
They're doing it.
No. They're
doing in-house. They have in-house.
They competed.
And I was like, Dad, like I just want to, get that out the way. I just want to like try it. I want to feel it. Like just to be in that moment. You want to see everybody else. Like. And
you want to feel that adrenaline dump.
Yeah, that FOMO, like that. I'm missing out. And they're getting better. They're getting better, and I'm on the sidelines. So like I know, like
do it, man. But that's it, man. That's it. There's no. You signed up. Go ahead. Doesn't matter. But obviously, train, right? I suggest like to stay at that class that you're. Stay in your class right now. Don't try to.
Should I contact them to move up in weight? But
I think you should change your weight class. Yeah, I think you should stay but train now to.
That's deep advice, Diego.
You guys just froze. But yeah, man, like whatever the weight class is, and just just stay like within it, and you'll be fine.
I'm trying to get to like like that 180, 185, like even though like I said, I feel
5 pounds is nothing. You could get there.
Yeah, like I feel real strong at like 150.
Oh yeah, that's your class. Oh yeah, I thought you were trying to kind of drop like a whole.
Yeah. Now it's impossible. There's no way. Because I'll be like super depleted.
What's the limit right now for the weight class that you're trying to get into?
It's kind of weird because it's like all over the place. Like if
they do with the gi, I think Fuji is with the gi.
Oh really?
But it's like like a huge like there for like one class. I think I don't know. It's
they have. I think they have a wide gap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
man. I mean,
whatever.
they're good. They're good tournaments, man. I think they're good tournaments for white to purple belts. And I think a lot of tournaments have a big challenge with getting brown and black. Um,
Why
so
is that?
except what is it?
Why is that?
I mean, IBJJF has the. I think IBJJF has that
The
Oh,
market.
okay.
standard.
I
They
see.
set
Yeah,
I
the
see.
standard.
yeah. I think they have that market. Like down packed to. And I think a lot has to go with the. It is just a style of it. Maybe the timing of it. Also, some
Hmm.
competitions take a little bit longer. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying and those are good like to coach. I mean, I guess so. But yeah, man, unfortunately, it would be nice, man. It would be nice for these other organizations to have that representation too. I think my brother and I spoke about it. You know what I'm saying? It would be nice, but it's not.
Oh,
That's why I said, man. You'll see me signed up to Grappling Industries, but
yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh,
if
he also
nobody
signed
signs
up.
up, it kind of sucks, man, because you're investing time. It's not just the tournament.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're investing, the time and the effort. Some people have to train for that.
Hmm.
It's not like they're competing every single time, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
So, but IBJF, I know that if I sign up now for IBJF, I know that hey, all I got to do is work hard because I know I'm gonna go in and have to fight no matter what.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a little different. You know, but Fuji is good, man. I think like you'll have fun
There it
for
is,
sure.
guys. I know
All
we're
right,
having our own
well,
conversation, but there it is. Fernando will
sorry
compete.
guys.
It's
That's
on
the
live. It's on live, and
that was the
that's it.
subtopic. That was the real topic of the.
That's what's up, man. So all right, so let's get around this. We're getting close to the hour. Fernando, final words. In addition to the fact that you've just committed yourself in public
I
to
know. Tell me
compete,
about it.
That's
No
it,
pressure.
bro.
that's
No
it.
pressure. No, I would like to give a huge shout out to Francisco. I would like to say his nickname, but I have I speak Spanish, but it's not the best, and my accent sucks. So I'm not even gonna
Say
try
it.
to say it.
Just try
But
to say it,
Just
man.
say it. And we're gonna loop it.
Sinestro.
Oh, that's it. Yep. We're gonna loop
That's how
that
it is.
and put audio behind it. We're gonna make a
Okay,
song out
thank you,
of that.
man. But yeah,
Sinistro.
like I really, appreciate, him taking the chance, taking the time
Mhm.
out of his, busy schedule, like with a baby on the way,
Yeah.
For
also,
sure.
a new academy, and all the other responsibilities that he has, to take 30 minutes to speak to us, like I, really appreciate that. Also, big shout out to you guys as well, Roll Star Camp, also, my camp as well, Capital, they took some silverware last night, some of my teammates. So, pretty proud of that, and, hope to,
Mm.
when I see them, take from, what they learn in their experiences in those tournaments and things like that. So, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Diego, final
Awesome.
words.
No, man, great show. So thank you to Sinistro. Really appreciate his time. And I'm looking forward to, this month. These next few weeks, I may not be training as much, but towards the end of the month, we are looking to add a few more classes and change a few things up. So looking for that training. And I'm looking forward to visiting you guys, man. So hopefully I get to see Fernando soon and train with you and Jay with you again. But yeah, man, that's it. So hopefully everybody has a great week, and you know
Yep,
that's it.
and yeah, and thank you guys for whoever tuned in. This was an awesome show. A little different than what we've done before. This is the first time we've actually invited someone outside of LUL, which was really great. And we're looking to do that more. We're gonna start
Yeah,
doing that more. We have another guest next week that is a Hoist Gracie Black Belt. And a good friend of ours as well. So we're gonna have him to talk a little bit about jujitsu and self defense. Seasoned jiu-jitsu practitioner, and so that's definitely coming. We have a lot of great guests lined up, in addition to some pretty cool topics. So continue to
yeah,
support us, subscribe to our show. Follow us on Instagram, follow us individually. You see the our names right there, Rollstar _MD, Rollstar, I think BJJ. Just follow us as well for more, our stories, our life, and what's going on with our jiu-jitsu journey. We definitely would love to link up with everybody. So with that said, train hard, train smart, have a great week, have a fun week, and we'll see each other next Sunday. So
All right.
with that,
That was para siempre.
Yes, sir.
what's up?